In recent weeks, we have seen many articles coming out that are stating that many buyers are having remorse across Canada. Now, is this the case everywhere? Are buyers actually, concerned that they purchased something in the height over the last number of months or even years in other places across Canada, but specifically in Calgary, are buyers having remorse? So I want to introduce you to Mark Morris. Mark Morris is probably a fantastic individual. He is a Toronto real estate lawyer who made some comments to the media. And what is the media like? They love headlines that provoke fear. So take a look at this. Now, as we have talked about many, many times on our channel, the media loves fear. They love headlines. They love fear. They love to sell the story. And this is no different. So right here, you've got this wonderful, wonderful little headline. Buyer's remorse high as real estate market slowdown materializes, right? That's a good headline. I mean, I read it. I stopped. I looked. I was like, what is this talking about? Not only was it in the Bloomberg, it was in the Globe and Mail. Is that Globe and Mail? It's a Globe and Mail. Not only was it in the Globe and Mail, it was also on CTV. And not only was it just an article on CTV, if actually you go to that page, there's a video about it. And inside this content, this is what it said. In recent weeks, Mark, who is this Toronto real estate lawyer, has seen 9 cases where buyers want to back out of deals. But on Monday alone, he was approached by 3 sellers keen to use legal challenges to keep purchasers from walking away. That's kind of interesting. Now, if you dig into it, I mean, you're basing a whole article, a whole headline tied to 3 cases on one day. Now, is this like statistic heaven? No, this is just someone's experience. And what's really interesting is that experience with these individuals. Now, these buyers of these 3 sellers may completely be fine with closing, right? It doesn't even say that these buyers wanted to walk away. It was sellers who were going, maybe in case they're wanting to walk away, maybe we should look and see what advice we can get. That's not even saying these buyers wanted to walk away or had any buyer's remorse. This, to me, when you have media like this, it just drives me crazy, because what it does is it just perpetuates this fear. Media loves fear. Media has to sell papers and they have to sell headlines and stories, and fear really can do that. And so what we wanted to do is we wanted to poll you. So as soon as I saw this article come out a couple weeks ago, I actually went to the community tab on our YouTube channel here and I posted a question. And I posted this question. I said, are you from out of town, not living in Calgary or area, and are still planning to move here? Because we have had a lot of buyers and a lot of people move here, physically planning and moving here from other cities because of how affordable Calgary is compared to those other places. So in saying that, we had 179 votes, where 23% of them just wanted to see the results. Totally cool. I love it. Those are great. I love having that option because it kind of filters out people just saying yes or no. But if we actually took those results out of it, figure out the real numbers, we had about 138 votes of individuals, of you, the viewers of our channel, and 75% of you who were planning on moving before I asked this question are still planning on moving here. 75% of you. 25% have probably changed their mind. Maybe they found they couldn't move here because of jobs. Maybe it's interest rates. Maybe it's prices dropping in areas where they live. And if you start looking at some of the average price drops in Toronto over this last little bit, for sure, there's $150,000 type average price drops that have happened in Toronto in certain areas. I have heard of individuals who were planning on moving here for Toronto and they can't sell their place because it has gone down in value. So they're probably not planning on moving here. And so that I find that very, very interesting that there are still people moving here from Calgary. Now, to further the conversation, to further our own investigation into this whole buyer remorse thing, we went out to a handful of real estate lawyers that we work a lot with, and they do a lot of transactions. And so here is what one of them actually said. I asked the question, have you seen this situation where buyers or sellers are trying to get out of deals? And what they said is, I've actually seen more sellers try to get out of transactions as they can't find anywhere to live. So what does that mean? It's inventory. If you watch our past videos, it's not interest rates, not these other things. The problem in Calgary is inventory, right? So they can't find anywhere to live, or have had financial fall through, or their financing fall through due to increased interest rates. But really that part of it has been less than 0.5% of the files that they work with. So it's a very, very small amount of issues like this. And none of these lawyers that we reached out to said there were buyers trying to get out of things because they had buyer's remorse, right? Now, I mean, as when we are talking to our clients and we're saying, you know, how long should you live in a house? Always, always, always plan to live in a property for at least a couple years, because you don't know what the market's going to do. I fully don't know where the market's going. When we're talking about the market, you only really know with what happened behind you, right? The past. And so when we look at the past, we can kind of predict the future. We can kind of see where things are going. But when you have situations like this, where you have more sellers trying to get at transactions because they have nowhere to go, I've actually heard of that from other agents, not inside our team, because we do not suggest selling your house if you don't know where you're going and there's a lack of inventory in the product or price point or whatever area that you are looking in. That's not a smart strategy. So, but in saying that, it's interesting, right? This buyer's remorse may be felt in parts of these large cities, not everywhere, even in those large cities of Toronto, Vancouver, but I don't believe it's being felt here. We've had no comments that I've heard of from any of our buyers, and our lawyers haven't heard anything either. So, gotta remember, we are sitting in a seller's market way down here. Yes, let me undo that so you can see it. The seller's market has been increasing, or the months of inventory, I should say. And so even if over the summer months, we jump into a balanced market, that's okay. Like, that's kind of expected, actually. The market is changing a little bit. And if you go back to the last video that I just shot and we released last week about the market update, we talk a lot about this, and we talk about how you can tell with months of inventory, kind of the trend of where the market's going. So go back and watch that video. I'll have a link for it at the end here. But that's the thing, is we are still in a seller's market. We are still having a high number of sales happening per month. This green line up here is 2022. I'll undo that so you can see things again. But right here, that little section, the blue line and the yellow line are other really high years. The yellow line is 2021 was last year. There was a high number of sales last year. And the last time that we saw something like that was 2013. So we haven't seen this number of transactions happening in our city for, dare I say, going on a decade, since 2013, right? 2021, we did see high number of sales for sure in the spring market. But before that, it was 2013 was the last time that we were tracking over the last 10 years here. I do not believe that when you read these headlines and you read these articles, that you have to just take it for what it is. Talk to someone that you know, that you trust in the market, what's going on. Have conversations, reach out to us, email us at info@chamberlaingroup.ca, give us a call, anything. But we want to help you guys, or comment on these videos. I'm always watching these video comments and wanting to interact with you guys, whether you agree or not. Everyone comments, so I love it. So we'll just keep chatting away. But we want to, you have to look behind the headlines, right? Look behind the headlines. What is really happening? And don't just take things for face value. Is Calgary going to slow down over the couple weeks, couple months? Well, what's your definition of slow down? Prices might drop a little, but they're way higher than they have been in a very long time. So put that in perspective, what it is. Now, what I want you to watch next is I want you to go back and watch our last real estate update video that we shot and that we just put out last week. This video goes into really deep stats, talks about our market, talks about that months of inventory that we talked about here. So go check that out, and we'll see you guys on the next video.